How you guys doing tonight? I'm the FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and welcome to the match review of our very hard-fought 1-0 win over Slavia Prague tonight. I'm going to be talking about the lineup, I'm going to be talking about observations I made during this game, I'm going to be talking about the impact of Ruben, I'll be talking about Willian Alonso, plus many more things as well. But before I get into anything, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. You guys, and the link in the description below is the link to the OneFootball app. If you want to help me out, the only way to do that is to click the link in the description to download the app. It does get monitored by the OneFootball app and it does help me out a lot. And you guys, download the app and do yourselves a big favor. If you want to get all the news tailored around clubs or players you support, you can do that. In the link below will be a link to the app. But anyways, starting with the lineup, and it was expected, let's be serious, and because it was expected, it meant for me personally, I could manage my expectations because I wasn't under the belief that we'd see guys like Hudson-Odoi or Ruben playing tonight. And because I knew some of the other personnel will be playing, I knew not to expect too much. Now, of course, this would make sense from Sarri because we shouldn't be targeting just the Europa League for me personally. We should be targeting the league and the Europa League because we're a big club with big ambitions and we can do this. But I mean, come on. I'll be making the point that 50% of the guys in the first team ruin it for the other 50%. These guys just don't complement playing this style of football. We see it time and time again. How many times do Willian or Pedro lose the ball when they get pressed aggressively? For me, I thought that Willian was one of the better performers today, purely due to the effort he was putting in. Most times the application, the end product wasn't there, but he put in a shift and he did work hard, so you have to give credit for that. But I mean, Pedro, my god, this guy, I've never understood why the fan base has never given this guy a harder time compared to Willian, because for me, they've been pretty identical in terms of what they provided to this club and the impact they've made here. But for some reason, Pedro gets away with it time and time again. But today, a typical Eustace performance where nothing comes off. Nothing. He can't find his man. He gives the ball away easily. He can't beat a player. None of his shots are on target either. And he adds nothing to the game. And when you see the output that both Willian and Pedro provided today, if you're Hudson-Odoi, like, what is there to be worried about, really? What is there? It's like the quality gap is ridiculous, and I'm not even exaggerating. Even when Hudson-Odoi isn't at his best, like we saw in that game against West Ham where, yeah, he wasn't his most scintillating on the ball, but it was a very mature performance. The guy was working hard. The guy was putting in effort. And it's just, he provides things and he makes things happen. The team flows better and we look better, and that was the main thing I realized today. When you take out guys like Emerson, Ruben, Hazard, Kante, and obviously Hudson-Odoi, the fluidity in which the system's played isn't the same. Things fall apart, moves break down a lot more. No one's really making the runs. There's no cohesion in anyone's play. And like, these guys can't do it. And Sarri doesn't have the squad he needs right now that is suited to actually trying to compete for a title and to win trophies, in my opinion. It's not there just yet. We can get there. But I do want to speak a bit about our opponents tonight in Slavia Prague. Now, if you guys have seen the match preview, you'd have been well briefed in regards to what to expect from Slavia Prague. We saw everything there. We saw their defenders constantly playing a lot of quick direct balls out from the back in those areas in behind our fullbacks, getting it wide. We saw them flooding men forward every single time, and it was kind of like a breath of fresh air for me, because how often do you see teams of that type of caliber really give it a go? Like, really give it a go. Look at the effort they put in, and I have to commend it. I have to. They worked their socks off. They harried us completely, and to be honest, it was a pretty even game. You might even argue that maybe Slavia might have edged it a tiny bit because their tenacity in the 50-50, and we have to accept these guys aren't the strongest. There's no more Balaks, Essians, Lampards. Come on, let's be serious. Let's not fault our guys for not winning their 50-50s and blame it due to lack of passion. That's not the case. It's purely down to them not having that in their lock in the first place. Let's be serious. But physically, we couldn't compete. And when I analysed them, I thought of one game in particular this season. And that was our loss against Spurs, because for me, it was like an identical approach, very physical. And that's smart coaching. You know, let me look at the strengths of the players I possess. What's one way to affect them? Let's make the game different. Let's turn it on their heads. Let's be very physical against them because they can't cope. And, you know, I do have to say, even though it wasn't our best performance, there were still some decent performances from some of the players today, especially in defense from guys like Rudiger and Christensen today. But these guys by themselves can't single-handedly stop a team like Slavia Prague. Still, we were lucky in the end when we got that goal. In that sense, it was a bit against the run of play, but for a game like this, come on, that's what we needed. There was no way that Sobibor was going to win it for us today. That was never going to happen. And why was it never going to happen? Well, that's because 50% of what makes the system work in the first place weren't playing today. But even with the small introduction of guys like Eden and Ruben, you could see that we started to make more sense. And I could tell because all of a sudden, Olivier Giroud was in the game more. He was dropping deeper, he was linking the play, he was linking up with Hazard quite a lot. And that's what you want to see. And by doing that, you know, that's how you start to, you know, drag Slavia Prague's defensive line and, you know, find the gaps to exploit them. But in the end, though, it was an unlikely hero in Marcos Alonso. I'm praying, because sorry, you've made this mistake before. You've made this mistake before where, you know, you've reintroduced Alonso back in the team because he scored a goal. Let's not do that again. Let's not forget the Everton game. Come on now. We're playing Liverpool on Sunday. We're sticking with Emerson. All right? Emerson forward. Alonso today. I mean, I'm going to sound really cynical. Great goal. Fantastic header. I'll sound cynical, but please. We've seen this guy make a billion runs inside the box where he doesn't stay on the outside. He forces Hazard out wide. And 99 times out of 100, it's failed and hasn't come off. He's either lost possession of the ball, his shots hit the crossbar, or the guy's giving the ball away. And this goal totally came against the run of play. And it came at the right time too, because let's be serious, during the second half, Slavia Prague were applying the intensity, they were applying the pressure, and they were flooding even more men forward during the counter-attack. So, you know, of course, they defended quite well against the counter, but it was a matter of time before they were going to make a mistake and were get punished. And they did get punished by Marcos Alonso. Great cross by Willian, but great play by Ruben to help start that move. And come on, it's something that Ross Barkley just wasn't going to do today. In the end, you guys, we do get the 1-0 win. We needed it. Slavia Prague made it very difficult for us, you know, using the same tactics that Spurs did, making it physical, making an aerial game, having their strikers making runs out wide to hold up the ball and stretch our defensive line, overloads. I mean, identical approach, and credit to them because it worked really well. And if you're a Slavia Prague fan, it's one of your proudest moments as a fan, seeing the type of performance from your team. So congrats to you guys. But before I end this match review, I do want to just speak about a few more observations. Kepa needs to be spoken about. And wow, this guy really struggled tonight. It was his most least convincing performance this season. Constantly, his hands were all over the place. His handling just wasn't there. Now, I don't know if it's because Slavia Prague were too physical. That could be a possibility, who knows? But we've seen this guy cope with this type of stuff before, so it doesn't really make too much sense. But Kepa wasn't at his best today. Yeah, some good instinctive shots he saved, but just some of his end products and quality just wasn't there tonight. And on a different night, who knows? We get punished a bit more for it. I do want to talk about Barkley. He didn't really provide too much. Yeah, he worked a bit hard. Some nice, runs with the ball at times. He was doing that a bit more today. But it's the end product overall that we're not getting in that position when he plays. Yes, it's just not really working for me, in my opinion. No surprise that Sarri was forced to have to rely on Ruben, and I'm guessing Sarri didn't even want to do that in the first place, especially against such a physical opposition at Slavia Prague. But Again, if you're Ruben, you're feeling a bit confident now because you're thinking, how are Cover and Ross ever going to take my first team spot now? Because they're not really doing anything at this moment in time. But yeah, you guys, you know, this is the reality of football. You can't win playing beautiful football every single time. Tonight, our players do have to be respected for their application because we can't say that no one worked hard tonight. They did. Every player worked hard. They competed for 50-50s. The intensity was there throughout. So I don't think Sarri would be too disappointed in my opinion. But for me, it was a case of just really accepting the realities of what this team can produce. Obviously, if a lot of the big guys aren't playing, I'm not going to expect Sarri ball to be in full flow. But in the end, you know, very resilient, hard-fought performance. That's all we can ask for tonight. So to be honest, I'm not really angry or disappointed. How can I be? You know, we've got the goal, we've got the advantage now, and obviously this is good for us because this means that Slavia Prague are really going to go for it in the second leg, and hopefully that means that we can exploit them. I'm sure around that time too, we'll see some of the big guys like Hudson-Odoi and Ruben playing in their second leg, so that's going to be interesting to see. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. Signing out.